Hi everyone, I am back with another video, and today I'm making the shorts that are coordinating to the top that I made in my last video. If you are wondering, this fabric is from Trendy Fabrics as well. I am loving the rib knit lately, so I will be sure to link the pattern for this down below, as well as where I got this fabric. And in this version, I did not add elastic, but it should not alter the fit of it. I looked and it's the same length as the knit waistband, so no elastic today, but I did go ahead and add this cute little faux drawstring detail, and I did the lettuce hem as well, so let's get started. Alright, so for this pattern, we only need 3 pattern pieces. These are pages 5 through 8, and I went ahead and printed out size 2T. So we just have the back, the front, and our waistband. Now I'm not going to be using the elastic for this, but I am going to be doing a drawstring, and I wanted to show you all what I got for that. This is actually mask elastic. I accidentally ordered this instead of my regular elastic, but it's going to come in handy for a lot of my projects. So if you need anything for like faux drawstrings, I recommend this one. I'll try to add a link down below. But anyways, I already have the pieces all cut out, so I'm going to go ahead and show you that. I mean, it's just literally just the pattern pieces in fabric form. But anyways, here you go, and we're going to go ahead and move on to the first step, which is going to be to lay our front and back pieces right sides together. Okay, so here is what that looks like. I just placed my pieces right sides together, and now I am going to go ahead and sew down the side seams here, here, and down at the crotch over here. You just want to line them up. If you're a super beginner, I recommend getting some pins or clips and pinning these together just so they're not shifting anywhere, but I'm going to go ahead and use my serger today and just zip right through these. It calls for a 1/4 inch seam allowance, so you just want to go in from the raw edges 1/4 inch, and I'll be back once that is done. So here is what it is looking like so far. I just went ahead and serged those 3 laces that I told you all about. Now we're going to move on to our waistband. Now I already have my right sides together, but all you're going to do is fold the right sides together if it's not already, and sew down the raw edges the same way that you did with the other parts. And here is what that looks like, and now we are going to quarter our waistband and our waist, I guess. I am not going to be using the elastic for this pattern just because I'm using really stretchy fabric. This is rib knit, and all I'm going to do is, we already have 1/4 here, so I'm going to hold it and find the center front, add a pin right there. I don't know why I went back to pins. I used to have all these clips, but now we're doing it old school. And I'm going to match up the pin with the center back and find my left and right quarters. Oh, there's a fly. Ah! It just buzzed in my ear. How rude. Okay, sorry. Now I'm going to pin it here. And same with the other side. So now we have our beautiful waistband quartered into 4 equal parts. And I'm going to do the same with the waist, and I'll be back. Okay, so for the shorts portion, the side seams are already our left and right point. So now I just went ahead and did the front and back. And I'm going to match up my seams from the waistband to my center back. Now you could match it to one of the side seams, however you want to do it, whatever your preference is, but I usually add a, I usually add my clothing tag to it, so I always do it in the back. And then all you're doing is matching up your pins. Now I usually just take one off, oops, or both off, and then just stick one in there. And we're doing the same thing to the sides. And this is going to be important because we're going to have to really stretch this waistband. If you noticed, it is a lot smaller than the waist, but don't worry, we're going to be able to stretch it. So all I'm going to do is start in the back, and what you're going to do is stretch the waistband only. Do not stretch the shorts part. So we're going to stretch the waistband to make it the same length as our shorts waist, and then it'll fit in there perfectly. So I'm going to show you how I do that on my serger in case you need a little more help. Okay, so here we are at my serger. It's really dusty, it always is, but here are my settings in case you were wondering, or my tensions I should mention. Okay, hopefully it's not going to shake too much. But again, I'm going to grab my clothing tag. Where did it go? Intermission, please. Just kidding. Okay, I grabbed it. I'm going to grab my clothing tag because I like to start right in the center back. And let me just move my foot over a little bit. Or my pedal, I mean. Okay, anyways, sorry. So I'm going to start in the back here. And all I do for my clothing tag is make sure that all the layers are nice and aligned. I'm going to take my pin off. Please take your pins off, guys. Or I should say, everyone. And all I do is place it, or it's touching the shorts part, not the waistband part, and I'm making sure that everything is aligned, and I'm just going to place it all under my foot. Okay, this fly is really up in my ear now. It's in my business. It's in my bubble. I'm not enjoying this. Okay. So now, I'm just going to start it a little bit, making sure to grab my clothing tag. Sorry for all the movement. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is, again, just stretch, I can't talk. Just stretch the waistband. I don't know what kind of accent I'm going for, but I'm going to stretch the waistband. Sorry you can't see that. Let's move down a bit, shall we? Okay. So now I'm going to stretch my waistband. Again, don't stretch the shorts. And you just go, and you can adjust as you go. And every time I take off a pin, I just make sure to place my fingers in its place. And I'm just going to keep doing the same thing all around, and I'll show you what I do once I reach. Sorry, this layer is not getting caught in there. I'll show you what I do once I reach the starting point. But again, just make sure everything is layered and that you're only stretching the waistband. Okay, I've reached my starting point, and all I do is clip these. And again, make sure I'm catching all the layers and that everything's looking good. Ooh, I could have done a lot better in that spot. So if you ever see like any spots like this, I'm going to push this area towards the right so that the needles catch a little lower. That way I don't have to redo it. Okay, so I'm pushing right here. And I just surge off. And you see how the needles are caught it a little lower. Now I don't have to redo it and whatnot. So then all I do is pull on these looper threads, pull nice and tight, and give it some knots. I don't know what the verb for this is. Knot it, I guess. Just knot it a few times, and then we're gonna cut it off. Cut it out. Wow, these are 2 Full House references. How rude, and cut it out. And that's what that looks like. If y'all can see that. Perfection. Alright, so now we are going to move on to the lettuce hem. So all we need to do is adjust a few settings on the serger. If you have the serger, it's your lucky day, because I'm going to show you exactly how. So, I mean, it's going to work for all sergers, I should say. So you're going to change your stitch width and, length and width to R. Sorry, it's not focusing. Focus on it. Okay, there you go. Change everything to R. I have my knife off. Oops. I'm struggling. Okay. And next, I'm going to keep all my settings the same. Sometimes I switch them all to 4, but I've been a little lazy today, you feel me? And all I'm going to do is take off our stitch finger. For this machine, you just push it. It literally just flew out. But you just push it and this little baby comes out. So there you go. Oh, and another important thing, you need to clip your left needle thread. It tells you to remove the needle, but again, I'm kind of lazy. We're going for quick and dirty methods here. So there you go. And now it is ready for a rolled hem, believe it or not. So let's get to that portion now. Okay, so what I'm going to do is lift my foot, make sure the needles are up, and I'm going to start from the back. I like to have the right side of the fabric facing me. And then before I put my foot down, I'm going to stretch it a little bit under there, because that is the key to this hem, this lettuce hem. We're going to stretch as we go. So I'm going to stretch from the front and the back and serge it all together. And the other key is to make sure that the fabric stays in place, meaning it's not going to go shifting everywhere, because we really need this needle to catch it. So let me go ahead and show y'all. Whoops. And the more you stretch it, the more it's gonna lettuceify. I don't know, the more it's gonna ruffle. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm going to go ahead and go almost to where I started and then show y'all how it's looking. Okay, so I'm almost to my starting point, and I'm going to clip them right off and just serge over it, overlapping about 1 inch. Then I'm just going to put my needle down and serge off. And clip it right off and finish my serger seams how I showed y'all earlier. And that is it for the hem. So now I'm going to do both legs and then come back for the drawstring portion. Okay, so this is what they look like. They're so cute. You could actually stop here and that would be perfectly fine, but I'm going to go ahead and add a little drawstring effect. So I'm just going to cut it out. Okay, so I don't know if there's like an official drawstring length, but I'm just going to go with 7.5 inches. And what I'm going to do is pin it like this while it's off the shorts, just so I can make sure that they're going to stay centered. And then you're going to find the center front of your waistband. So here's my center front of my waistband, and I'm just going to add a pin just so I know where that is. And then make sure you don't accidentally clip the back of the waistband, so I'm just working with the front by kind of shifting it. And then I'm going to place this where my pin is at, and I'm actually going to pin it all down here because we don't want it to get in the way of us sewing over it, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to pin down here, making sure that everything stays nice and together. I'm going to push my pin all the way down. So this is where I would prefer pins over clips. And next, I'm going to pin the very tippity top of this, making sure that it's centered. I'm going to pin the very top of this. Wow, I didn't even grab the fabric. Okay, take 2. Trying to really fish it. Okay, there. So now all I'm going to do is sew around here just to keep it in place. And I'm just going to be using my sewing machine. Wow, I have one. I never use this thing. But I'm just using a regular straight stitch, nothing fancy. And I'm going to place it underneath my foot here. And I can't really see what I'm doing. Okay, there. And all I'm going to do is sew it straight across and then back stitch straight across. And back stitch. Then go forward a little bit. Back stitch, and it's done. Okay. And I'm going to clip all of my threads. Oops, my battery is low. Sorry about that. I hate when the lighting changes. But we're almost done, so I'm just going to take all these pins off and show y'all the final product. Oh wait, it's not the final product, because now I am going to make sure that these are exactly the same. They're like the tiniest bit off. Now you can leave them like this, or if you want, you can knot the ends. I don't really have a preference. Alright, so here is the finished product. I'm so happy with it, and I'm glad that I added this little, what is it? This little detail. So that is it for this video, and I will catch you all in the next one. Bye bye.